Hi guys, this is Laura with the Fitness Skinny. I like to call this workout the foam roller core stability class. So you need, if you have, a roller. And I'm using a long roller here. Some of the moves you're gonna need more support when you're laying on your back. So grab your roller, maybe a mat underneath your roller. You're gonna start lining up your seat with the one end of the roller, and then you're going to slowly lower yourself down, making sure your head is comfortably on, your hips are comfortably on, and then you're going to start to scissor your arms. One back, one forward, keeping your ribcage knit and the small of your back the same shape on the roller. So your core is engaged and feeling that stretch in your shoulders. This should feel good. So take a moment, relish in this movement, taking in how it feels in your body, adding breath to your movement. Integrate opposite arm, opposite leg. So when you scissor your left arm, you're gonna kick your right leg out and vice versa. So right now, you always have one foot and one hand touching the ground for stability. Draw your core in before you move, providing a stable core so you're not wobbling. How much length can you find through your extended arm and extended leg? We're doing 8 of these. And once you're done with 8, reach both arms back. Inhale them forward, chin nod, curl up to the bottom tip of your shoulder blades, reaching for your thighs. We're doing a modified roll up here. As you curl, feel your low back compressing into that roller. So your natural arch in your spine is going to compress and flatten out against that roller. As you lift, maybe slightly higher than your shoulder blades, see if you can keep an apple underneath your chin, keeping your neck long, finding length in every roll up, modified roll up. Your feet are stable. See if you can avoid gripping with your hips. Your pelvis is neutral on the roller, tailbone flat. Our magic number is 8 today, so we're doing 8 of these. Make sure you're adding that breath, exhaling up. On your 8th one, can you stay up, finding your elbows supporting yourself on your mat? You're going to not only spread your tabletop knees, but you're gonna see if you can tap your toes towards the ground. If your toes aren't touching, it's no problem at all. Again, see if you can maintain neutral hips, a neutral pelvis, and a neutral low back. So the lower those legs dip, ensure your back isn't arching. Use your core to pull those knees back up. And then from here, you're gonna dip both knees towards the ground. Pull them towards your chest and see if you can lift and straighten those legs simultaneously with your low abs. So think of this as a low ab scoop, a low ab curl to get those legs up. Hips hover off that roller. Notice how much pressure and weight you're loading into your arms. They're there for support. See if you can avoid using them to lift. Try to channel your core here. Going for 8. Slow and controlled is better, so you're able to feel connection with the correct muscles. And then taking straight legs down, inhaling about 45 degrees, or if you can go lower without your low back changing, it's a good core challenge. So go to the What's the point that's challenging you most today? Curl your hips over, straighten those legs. Keep length in those legs as you roll down one vertebrae at a time. Imagine your feet are being pulled behind you and your spine is rolling away from your pulled feet. It's going to feel really nice on your back. Again, this is very challenging for stability. Feel your spine align on that roller. See if you can feel like it's going straight as you curl one vertebrae at a time down. And then softening your knees into tabletop. Try toe taps or heel dips, alternating right and left, keeping your low back still, your hips neutral. You're driving your knee back up with your exhale, and your core, that deep core connection, is assisting that knee drive back up. You're inhaling down, exhaling up. Returning your feet to the floor with control, use your core. Reach your arms up to the sky. Try alternating arm and leg away from your midline. This time starting with those arms to the sky. Notice it's harder to stabilize here. So now you only have one foot touching the ground. Zip up your core and then move. And sometimes it's easier to get something moving first, like your foot or your arm. Struggling with this one a little bit. Make sure you're moving from your center. Shoulders away from your ears. Rib cage knit. Returning your feet to the ground. Arms stay reaching to the sky. Can you roll your hips up, lifting your heels off the mat at the top, lowering your heels down, controlled movement, and then lowering your hips. Finding that spine articulation one vertebrae at a time. You're doing 5 of these. This should feel good. Notice how challenging it is to move without your arms assisting you. And 5, return your hands to the floor. Lift your knees into tabletop. Your right knee is going to reach off to the side, keeping your left knee stable. Pull it back in and then switch your left knee and then pull it back in. So you're inhaling that right knee open. Exhale, shutting. Inhale, left knee opens. You're using your opposite oblique, so your left oblique is pulling that right knee back, and then your right oblique is pulling your left knee back. So focus on using the sides of your core here to pull your knee in. Hips are staying still. Gluing your knees together, take this into a knee swivel. So your knees are going to rotate to the left, your heels right, and then knees swivel to the right, heels left. Squeezing those inner thighs together. The movement is coming from those femur bones. You're feeling one hip lengthen, one hip shorten, but this should be a direct correlation or engagement in the sides of your core, your obliques, shortening and lengthening. Lower your feet to the ground. Reach your arms back. See if you can roll up all the way to sitting. You might have to slide your feet further away from you. You're going to come off the front end of your roller. Align the roller up underneath your shoulder blades for support. Your head, neck, and shoulders are fully supported. Knees are bent, feet are touching the mat. You're going to roll your hips up, roll your hips down. Ensure that your alignment feels correct. When you drop your hips, you should feel a really nice chest opening stretch. articulate one vertebrae at a time, even weight in your feet. Ensure your neck is long, chin off your chest. On your fifth one, as you roll your hips up, can you reach your arms up to the sky? And as you lower your hips, cactus your arms. So you're integrating a chest stretch with those cactus arms. And your bridge, this should feel really incredible. Notice what it requires from your core to stabilize and balance on that roller. And then on that fifth one, bumping it up a notch. Keep your arms reaching to the sky, your hips lifted. You might have to walk your feet closer together. So we must have done 8 of these. Sorry, everybody. Feet are almost touching here. Hips are lifted, and you're gonna march those knees out. Notice this gets really challenging. The narrower your feet are, the more stability you're gonna have. Arms are reaching for the sky. Make sure your core is drawn in tight. Try to visualize where your pelvis is in space. Can you keep it still? Neck really long here. Play with this, be playful. You might not be good at it right away, and that's okay. This should be challenging. I designed this class with some exercises in mind to challenge your balance on purpose. Let that last one roll yourself up into a seated curl. Turn to face your roller. Place your hands on the edge of your roller. You could do this as modified, just staying on your knees, dropping your hips forward in a plank from your shoulders to your hips, or you can come up onto your toes and be in a full plank position like I'm showing here. Balancing, you're going to see if you can walk your hands forward for, walk your hands backwards for 4. This is probably the most challenging exercise in this workout today. Don't expect this to be easy the first time you try it. It's a lot of stability here. Notice how wide my feet are to support myself. The big factor is whether you're on your knees or up on your toes, your hips are staying still. Play with that one. And then you're going to turn your roller lengthwise and try to support yourself with one foot, because as you push up with your hands, you're going to bridge your hips up, simultaneously kicking your straight leg to the sky. Lift that leg, and then lower everything down together. I am very tight today. I remember I'm not getting very high, but push through your supporting foot on the roller. You have that challenge of balance so the roller isn't rolling further out away from you. Switch sides. I did 7 on each side. I'm not sure why the number was 7, but that's what I'm sticking to instead of 8. Add that breath, lift your chest, try to keep those hips still as you're kicking that leg down up. And once you hit 7, you're gonna lay down, slide that roller underneath your hips to support your pelvis. As your pelvis is lifted, draw your knees towards your chest. You're gonna bicycle those legs, so one knee comes in towards your chest, one leg extends out, simultaneously swapping those legs. This should feel good, especially in that extended straight leg reaching towards the ground. You're going to feel a nice stretch through your thigh. Can you keep your pelvis slightly tilted upwards instead of having it dip down with the weight of that leg? Keep long through those toes. Upper body relaxed. Draw a circle with those legs, avoiding your hips bobbing down as your feet sweep low. I've got my buddy Pita today. Go 4 in one direction, 4 the other way. And we're going to carry this into jackknife, or sorry, first scissor those legs out. So one leg high, one leg low. Feel that stretch in that reaching leg. Carrying both legs to 45. Now go to jackknife. So you're reaching those legs up, over, parallel to the ground. I'm showing you a version where you can keep those legs close to your body as you curl your hips down, or you can jackknife and bring those feet up and slowly try to bring those hips down. I realized quickly how hard it was to not have your hands pushing into the mat for support. So my slow, controlled roll down is more like a clump down. But see how controlled and slowly you can reach those feet to the sky and then rainbow your feet away as your spine curls towards that roller. And the idea is to make that a gradual articulation towards the foam roller. And hopefully you're having better success at it than I am. After 8, maybe have this opportunity, take this opportunity to hug one knee into your chest, extending your opposite leg away. That should feel good. If it doesn't feel good in your low back for any reason, you can ditch that roller now. I'm going to take that knee across my midline of my body, giving myself a spine twist. If you're doing the spine twist, just make sure your opposite shoulder is staying grounded on your mat, so you're rotating away from your shoulder, breathing into your low back, placing your feet on the mat. Lift your hips enough to roll that roller out from underneath your hips. You can place your feet on your roller and push that roller away as you roll to a seated position, reaching for your toes. I hope you enjoyed.